Just 1 second.
Does it hate me? Oh my goodness, now you can hear me. Hello everybody. Hello everybody. I was just saying welcome to the disaster show. We are 13 minutes late. Um I hope you can hear me now. You should be able to hear me now. I look like a shiny monster because I have spent the whole day moving the studio around and trying to install this portable air conditioner, and I don't know what day it is today, honestly, and I'm busy fighting with this pipe, and the next minute I get this little ping on my phone, and I'm like, who's sending me a message at this time of day? I check it, and it's Brian going, yeah, so I'm ready. How are you? How are you doing? And that was at 5 to 7, or yeah, which is the. And I'm sending a message going, no. We're only live in an hour, right? Because I have completely blanked out on this thing. Anyway, so the green screen behind me, I threw the green screen sheet over the cupboard, and the lights are temporary. And as the sun sets, well, anyway. I apologize. It's not what one should do, but I completely zoned out. Brian, how are you doing? Thank you for being here and being so calm and patient in your emails. I'm like, you're kidding! I wasn't using such polite language. You're kidding! It's in an hour, right? I mean a full hour, like not now. What? Oh, God. So how you
Good.
doing?
And I just remembered one other thing I need in front of me. Just 1 second.
Okay, you grab something. There we are. There we are. Free the goblins as a result of this. You know what? I think you might be right, but there's one more thing next week. There's one more. It's coming out next week. Just give me a chance. So much stuff going on. Okay.
All right.
All right. So, Brian, I have nothing to drink in front of me, and I'm dying. I'm going to ask you to give the guys a recap of what happened whilst I go grab something and come running right back. Is that okay?
Okay.
All right. Good.
Sounds very good.
I'll be
Go
back.
for it. So last week we started with a fight with a large cat in the mountains. And I, being a tabaxi, I chose only to scare the cat, not to harm it too much. Fortunately, that worked, and we scared it off and it ran away. The man who was taking me on the walk, he was fairly injured, and I used my healing magic to help him out. Even though I knew, being a member of the Cult of Life, they preferred not to use healing. But I thought it would be a good idea to get myself in his good graces. And doing so, he opened up to me and told me about the real purpose of something that Raj suspected, was that there was a little something extra going on, and there were some arenas that people came to fight in to more uniquely experience life. So he volunteered to try himself out in the arena. And that was a bit of a surprise at first. But they were also hinting at something about a prophecy. Now, as a player, I've been very good not to listen into any of the spoilers. But Raj is not, he's still sticking to his plan. He's trying to explore his way around the world, not really too overly superstitious in terms of a prophecy. Now, all right, just as Guy comes back, I'll have to say I'm not set up now to see everyone's comments. So if I missed any comments while Guy was getting his drink, I'll let him catch up on that. But that should get us right back into position fairly close.
There we go. Close enough. All right. Good heavens. Thank you for that, Brian.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. So that is awesome. Okay. Let us calm and collect ourselves, and we will go a little bit later tonight as we started late. Now, I seriously need to watch the recap to this so that I know what Brian is thinking. Oh, that's exciting. Okay, fantastic. And that leads us... How's the audio, by the way? I mean, is Brian okay? Am I okay? Is it all good? I hope so. Perfect, says Price. Okay, good audio. Yay! Fantastic. Loving that comment. And I got a new 3D model for the Tabaxi because I wasn't happy with this one. I mean, it's okay, but I've got a better one. I went and spent some money because I like good illustrations. But from a couple of weeks from now, all of these are going to change anyway. So anyway, okay. He told nothing but lies, says Landon. Well, we're about to find out. He said, hopefully. Okay, let me just switch this into that. And we are going to sink ourselves now, hopefully, back into the territory known as the Refuge of Hecaeus. The monastery stands in early morning as the first seagulls, I suppose, start to make their rounds. They're kind of lazy in this part of the country. But the monastery at the bottom of the cliffs is quite lively, with all of the monks watching the combat, or not, that is about to unfold in the arena at the very centre of this temple of life. For we find young Raj staring into the dark abyss of the socketless socketless, you get the picture. They're pretty terrifying skeletons. And that's what he's staring at as they look and gnaw at him. One being the captain of the ship that washed you up onto the shore of the reaches of Hecaeus. Give me an initiative check, if you please.
All right.
Aye.
My dice tonight.
We'll be bringing you home.
That would be a 12.
That would be a 12. Okay. Well, bringing you home, you are acting first. So what you doing?
All right. My first action in combat is to cast Blade Ward.
Blade Ward. All right. You start to summon the Blade Ward. How does that work?
That will give me resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing. So a little bit of resistance to their weapon attacks.
All right. And that's your standard action.
Not so squishy.
Hopefully. That's your action. Are you going to move? Let me just get you onto the grid here.
Oh, wait. I'm not in... Oh, I need to be inside the circle before I cast that, if I understood.
It was 10-foot radius. So basically, almost everywhere on the map, except for the far corner. I will show you what happens as you cast your spell. A rather unusual thing starts to happen. Give me a second here. You cast your spell, and this glowing energy sort of wraps around you, around the space, as you can see, something like that. And that seems to be the zone in which the magic operates. It flares very briefly as you cast your spell, and then it drops down in intensity.
Keep as much distance from them as I can while still being inside of this.
All right, so you want to back up away from them?
Yeah, like the opposite corner.
Gotcha. You can step further back if you like.
If I can, yes.
All right, you think you're in the zone of magic because it's sort of shimmering around you. This is about as far as you think is safe. Maybe another 5 foot back, but maybe it will or maybe it won't work. You're not entirely sure. All right, that's your movement. That's your action. The skeletons. This is, and I'm going to give them the name very quickly. That's the Cap. And this young one here is Carver. Okay, so the captain is going to lurch forward. And he is actually going to be able to get all the way over to you, I'm afraid. As he's lumbering forward, you can see he pulls out this rather crooked, curved blade, which you didn't see him use under when you were on the ship with him, but certainly seems to be one that he's quite familiar with. He swings it at you. Now, your blade ward gives you resistance.
Yes, so that would be half damage to.
Yeah. All right. So he swings at you. He swings wide, and he only he gets a 10. So his blade, I don't think, comes anywhere near you. As a matter of fact, you managed to get out of the way quite easily. How do you get out of the way? Is it a slick duck back? Is it a frantic dive out the way? How is Raj in terms of physical combat?
He is fairly dexterous, so that would be a move to the side to kind of lurch out of the way of the blade.
Fantastic. This one comes lumbering in. Captain, what should we do? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. He is going to stop there. As he does, he pulls out a dagger from between his ribs, looks at it, looks at you, and you imagine that if he had a tongue, he'd be sticking it out at you as he sort of makes this slicing motion with his hand, and then he flicks the dagger at you. For a natural 1, the blade, as he's doing this motion, slips out of his hand and lands in the center of the circle. His skull looks at you, looks at the dagger, and there's a sort of a sagging of the shoulders as he realizes that his great moment has been lost. Back to top of the round, Raj, you're up.
All right.
Skeleton is atop you.
Raj will use his best spell, which is his Witch Bolt.
Right.
And it requires a ranged attack.
Right.
But I think it should still work with him standing next to me. But yeah, that's the best.
I'll let you cast it, but he might get an attack of opportunity.
Okay.
Or you can back up 5 feet and hope that your magic works.
But backing up, wouldn't that give him an attack of opportunity?
If you only go 5 feet, you're disengaging, although technically that's an action. But as far as I'm concerned, you could back up 5 feet and cast your spell.
All right. If I can do that, then I will do that.
If you can, is the real question. Do you go that way,
yep,
or that way?
That's the first one.
There. Okay. Roll a luck check for me, please. So roll a d20 and tell me your number. Oh, boy.
All right. It is a 7. Lucky number 7.
Lucky number 7 does not beat my number, however. So as you step back, you start to summon your magics. What would Witch Bolt look like exactly?
It almost looks like Emperor Palpatine's type bolt
Lightning
coming out from his hands.
I like it. as you're pulling this magic together, the lightning starts to arc out, but the circle flares and you realize you might be on the wrong side of it because the lightning doesn't do anything.
Ooh.
You are unlucky in that. The captain looks at you and it seems almost instinctive, but he realizes he can't seem to get much closer. So he actually opens up and moves to that side and says, "What's the matter, you frail little cat? Weren't afraid to get on our boat? Weren't afraid to burn down our harbour?" This one goes over and picks up his dagger, and that's all that he's doing for this round. Back to you.
All right. I'm going to move back into the circle.
There or there?
Up one and over about as many more as I can with my movement of 30 feet.
All right, 5, 10, 15. You're good. You still got another 15 feet. So you want to go this way?
Yeah, that's
All right.
perfect. All right.
Dash over
And
there.
try another witch bolt from inside the circle.
You will die. All right, you fire out your witch bolt. Is it a ranged attack against the captain, I'm assuming?
Yep.
Okay, make your attack. Come on, dice.
And it's a 7.
No. You fire it out and it arcs all over the place, just grounding itself, slowly making its way towards the captain, and then it fizzles as it gets to his feet. He looks at you and he laughs and he's like, "Oh my goodness, thank goodness we did not get into combat." 5, 10, 15, 20. He's upon you again. He's actually going to come in down here. And he's swinging that blade. Your barrier is still in effect. How long does it last for?
That lasts for 1 round.
Okay, so that was last round.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I don't have it right now.
All right. He swings for you with that big cutlass. Oh, my goodness. You're out. Swings wildly, completely misses. He's obviously got something on his mind. And, yeah, absolutely no good attack at all. Kavar suddenly lifts up his little dagger and he flicks it at you. He's desperate to get this attack to land. Change dice, and we have a 21 to hit. I assume that hits, absolutely. So the dagger slips through the air. Where does it catch you? Because wherever it catches you, it deals 3 damage.
Be in the shoulder.
All right. Smacks you in the shoulder, cuts you quite deep. It's a rough and nasty blade. It's got little bits of barnacles on the edges of it, a little bit rusted. Definitely not a happy attack. You're up. What you doing?
All right. Sacred Flame on the captain. That is a dexterity saving throw for him of 13.
He watches, he looks up, the sacred column of flame comes barreling down onto him. He gets a dex check of 5. What is your damage?
All right.
This flame immolates the captain. He shouts
3
upwards.
points of damage.
How much?
3.
3 points of damage. He looks up, he screams, and then his scream... You think that is going to stop me, laddie? You've got another thing coming. He is flaming with your column. You give me a perception check, however.
Okay. 3.
3. Okay, just this flaming skeleton pirate captain is now directly in front of you. And And 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Why is he vanishing? I don't know. So he's going to come in there. Kavar has maneuvered his way around behind you, and he looks like he's trying to grapple your arms. You can't make an attack if you can't use your fingers, he's shouting. He's trying to grapple you, so that's an opposed check. You can use your acrobatics or athletics as he tries to grab you. You need to be...
Acrobatics?
Yep, absolutely. He's trying to grab you, pin you down, lock your arms, Greco-Roman style wrestling.
An 8 for me.
Okay, we need to teach Brian how to lie sometimes. An 8. That's wonderful. With your 8, the skeleton behind you is trying to grapple you, and he has succeeded. So you are now considered grappled for all intents and purposes. It is your turn. That flaming... what was the thing that came from the sky? My mind's gone blank. Anyway, sacred flame. It doesn't last for a period of time. It's a once-off effect, right?
No, it's just instantaneous.
Right. Perfect. Okay. You are grappled. You can take an action to get out of it.
I've got to try and use acrobatics to get out of it. With a roll of 10 this time.
10 beats my 7. So you are no longer grappled. That is your action, however. Yeah.
All right. None of my spells have bonus action on them.
All right. The captain laughs at you. That's right. That's right. That's how we fight. More than one. He tries to gut you in the back. Completely missing on an 8. Oh, 9, 10, 11, which is still a miss. So he sort of thrusts at you. It goes wide. Kavar dances out of the way. Oi, Captain! Kavar now pulls out another little dagger, which he tries to stab you with. 3. Okay, I'll keep you for now, but that's a warning. He slices at you, but you're moving around. He's not wanting to get too close to the captain. He's not wanting to get too close to you. Back to you. What are you doing?
All right, another sacred flame on the captain.
Warp. The captain... There goes that dice. The captain looks up. Oh, as your flame comes barreling down onto him. How much damage?
5 this time.
There's an explosion of bone and flame in all sorts of different pieces. The cutlass goes sailing towards you. Give me a dexterity saving throw with advantage.
Okay.
It's gone.
That will be a 20.
20. You duck out of the way. Kavar behind you goes, ah! He throws himself out of the way. The cutlass sails across, lands on the other side of the courtyard. The captain is destroyed. You have a movement still.
I will move to the opposite corner there. Still within the circle.
If you move out, Kavar will get an attack of opportunity against you.
Oh yeah, he's got his dagger. Yeah. All right, I'll stay there for now.
All right. He looks at the dagger. He looks at you. He says, "Look, I'm sorry. It's you or me, innit? And I've got nothing to lose." So he tries to stab you with the dagger. He gets a 16.
That will hit.
That's a hit. You've taken 3. You've got 4 left, correct?
Was that 3 with... Was that halved, though?
I think that was... Your blades had dropped by that stage, sadly.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
All right. And his dagger slices you for 2 points of damage. Where?
All right. I think he's gone across my chest this time.
Ah, yes. It's a slash at you. The initiative's yours.
All right. Another sacred flame.
Another sacred flame. All right. Kavar looks up this barrel of flame. Why do I think it's coming from the heavens? I'm thinking of something else. Anyway, the sacred flame comes barreling towards him. He gets a 19, so unfortunately he completely ducks out of the way. Is there damage for passing, or is it just no damage at all?
No. No damage.
No damage. All right. He is completely ducked out of the way to simulate that. I'm just going to move him there. It's his turn. He looks at the dagger. He looks at you. Have you ever thought taking up, like, I don't know, being a scribe? He tries to stab you. He gets a 5. Where is that dice gone? He just sort of thrusts at you. He's being too cocky at this moment in time. He's really enjoying his position he has over you by the looks of things. Action's yours.
All right. Keep going with the wonderful cantrip. Sacred flame.
Sacred flame. Sacred flame. He's ducking, he's weaving, he's like, I didn't see that one coming. He gets a 4. Do your damage.
6 points of damage.
As the flame slams into him, all that's left is this little crater of black smoke and that very rusty and barnacled dagger. There's clapping from all around the arena, and the green magic circle disappears as Orbrin walks forward, the last of the enemies defeated. And Orbrin looks at you. You had us worried. We really thought you were going to expire. Look,
I had myself worried too.
yes. Well, as tradition, you are, by your right as victor in the arena, allowed to stay on for another combat, if you so choose. Or you could honourably withdraw and spend the next week in healing and contemplation of your experiences.
I think I will need some recovering.
Oh, thank goodness.
One of my first times of... Yes,
Excellent.
I do not have a lot of experience. Let me reflect upon this.
Yes, let's do that. Oh, all right. He guides you to the edge of the arena and into one of the side rooms where he hands you over to an unknown acolyte who will then escort you back up to your room, if that's where you want to go.
Yes, that's a good idea.
All right. You head back up to your room. The acolyte drops you off, and he says, I watched the fight. I thought you were very good, actually. Very good. Just perhaps, yes, you should probably learn to duck a bit more, he says. A few moments later, Oryx sticks his head in the door as well and says to you, I really liked your fight. I thought you were pretty good, actually. If you need a healing bath, nudge, nudge, wink, wink, the waters of purification are very good at healing the soul, as well as cleaning and cleansing the soul. Well, just a thought.
I shall pass on that. Us Tabaxi do not like bathing in water.
Didn't you wash up on a beach?
Yes, but that does not mean that I enjoy the water.
True. Oh, the many lessons that life can teach us. That's marvellous. Anyway, I'll wake you before dinner. Zil doesn't seem to come back from wherever it is that he's gone. So.
Oh, really?
Yes.
No news from him at all?
No, nothing. It's... Well, the abbot hasn't said anything, but it is rather unusual.
Okay, yes. Please wake me for dinner.
Absolutely. He leaves you alone, and you are alone in your chamber. Do you do anything?
All right. At least a short rest for the time being to
Okay.
recover a little bit.
Not a problem.
Let's see. I'm just curious what this. Oh, that didn't recover any hit points. All right. I'll have to roll
Yeah.
a hit die.
As you
Get
take
that
a
back.
rest.
That'll be recovering 4 hit points. That's good.
That is good. Yes, especially at your level.
5 with my Constitution bonus, so
There you go.
that's a full recovery.
Very cool. Very cool. Then what are you doing? It is by now sort of lunchish, if that.
I would like to go and find the abbot and
Okay.
see if he's heard from Zill.
You go wandering looking for the abbot, and eventually you track him down. He is in the scriptorium, as you've learned it to be called. Let me just make sure that everyone can see what's happening there. So yeah, you're in that little scriptorium on the second floor above the entire arena. Oh, let me go and fetch the abbot. And he seems to be reading over that same legend that you have seen before. The prophecy.
Excuse me, good abbot. Have you heard from Zill?
He looks at you, at the moment invisible on the map. I don't know why. He looks at you. I haven't heard from Zill. No, he hasn't come back yet.
Very strange.
I thought he was out with you, as a matter of fact.
I have not seen him since we returned yesterday.
That's unlike Zill.
Yes.
Did he say anything to you?
No, he did not. He did not. We returned and I thought I would see him again, but no one has heard from him. It is very odd. Has he done this before, this disappearing?
The abbot looks you up and down. Well, you know about the prophecy that Zill believes you are fulfilling, yes?
Yes. Some people have told me about this. Yes.
What do you make of it?
I do not know. It sounds similar to what has happened. That I do come from a southern shore. I was looking for a light, I guess, but I do not know. I have never heard of such a prophecy where I come from, so.
It's not a common one. It was written quite a long time ago, to be perfectly honest with you. The second paragraph is not yet clear. I have a friend in Delphinia who is the one who is responsible for reading it as it so changes. She updates me. She hasn't said anything yet, so I assume that the prophecy is either a waste of time or is, well, not you. But Zill is a very impressionable young man. Well, youngish man. He's only 60. Well, actually, for a human, he's pretty old. He's a pretty childish character when I think about it. Nonetheless, Zill tends to try and make these things become true. He didn't say anything to you about anything at all, did he?
No, he did not. We went for our walk yesterday for a distraction to what I had suspected all along.
I know why you went for the walk. What happened on the walk? Was anything...
When we were on the walk, he was attacked by a mountain cat, a large beast, and I saved him. And I hoped that I had made a friend in him from this, but
You saved him
yes.
from death?
Yes. Yes.
That is what I am afraid of. We can barely make out the second line that is written there. Death vanquished by something and guile. Could be running. Cunning, I think, and guile. The rest I can't see.
Cunning and guile do usually go together.
Yes. And you are a magic user of sorts. Did you beat Did you beat the beast to death?
No. It was a cat. I could not destroy it. I just scared it away.
So you defeated death with cunning and guile by avoiding killing something.
I guess you could interpret it that way, yes.
I think that's exactly how Zill has interpreted it, whether we want to or not. Now this other line, for the love of the makers, I can't see what it says. Something combined is definitely the last word.
And wind.
Yes. Look, Zilla's been studying this longer than the rest of us. I wonder if Zill thinks you are the one in the prophecy. And he wants the prophecy to come true. Death is vanquished by cunning and guile. Something combined. Do you think... I'm the only one who speaks with the priestess at Definiae, and it is quite some distance yonder from here. As in, on the other side of Utherios. You don't think Zill's trying to go there, do you?
It may be possible if he believes so strongly in this prophecy. Yes, he may have left to go there. If that is the case, I should try to catch up with him
and convince him.
Find out what his intentions are first, what he knows about this prophecy, if it is worth pursuing to begin with.
That is a wise course of action, indeed. The question is, how would he try and get there? He goes to one of the shelves and he pulls out this very large leather-bound map of the area. And he looks at you and says, this map comes to us at great well, as you can see, we're down here, and the map was created by a very powerful dwarf who was responsible for forging the world. Some call him World Anvil. And we are here at the refuge of Hikaeus, and Definiae is all the way up here.
Oh, wow.
It is a significant distance of...
yes, that is.
Yeah, 200. Each block is 200 miles. Each block's 100 miles. So Uh, about 600 miles, give or take.
That would take him some time to go by foot.
Oh, yes. The other problem is you saw the mountains yourself. Did he go north towards Neposti or south to Nexi in the hopes of getting a caravan? Did you mention anything to you like that? Best routes or something?
No, he told me about those camped outside of this establishment, hoping to compete in the arena, but
there are many who do hope to compete. I then ask you, young Raj, would you be willing to go and talk to these individuals? We're not particularly allowed to talk to them too much for fear of rigging the competition. Would you speak to them if they've seen Zil?
Yes, I think that would be good. I think that would be a good option.
I concur. But this afternoon, or are you still injured from your combat earlier?
I'm feeling much better after a little rest. I think I should go right away.
I agree. I thank you for your help here in this particular matter. May you find Zil.
Yes, thank you.
He then sort of goes back to reading the prophecy and sort of watches as you leave the library.
I'm gonna head back out and go right directly to the camp.
All right. As you journey towards the camp, you pass through a grove of cypress trees, which has a spectacular view down into the refuge of Hecaius Bay, as you guess it's called. You're not entirely sure. Great big blue waves crash against a very broad beach, which is, you assume, where they must have found you when you washed up here several days or weeks ago. You're not sure. The camp itself is quite literally huge. There are tents posted everywhere. Some tents have got the animal hides and are made out of bones. Some are made out of rather impressive looking scales that have been plated together. Some are made out of coral. Some are made out of leather. Some are canvas, as one might expect. Some are quite grand affairs, actually. There's one that's got silks all over it and stands 2 stories high. And it's a whole village of people that are operating. You can hear the tang and bang of armor smiths and blacksmiths, the hiss and rustle of a forge as the bellows are pumping air to melt the iron and steel. It is a very lively place. And as you are walking up, several younger men come rushing up to you, mostly human. They all are wearing training leather armor, and they sort of dance around you. So, did you fight in the arena? You're not one of the monks, that's very obvious. What was it like? What did you fight? Did you win? Says one of them, and they all look at him and then look back at you. Ignore him. So, what happened?
Yes, I tested myself. I was quite surprised by the opponents that I faced, as they were the remains of people I once knew.
They all kind of back away from you? You're a necromancer?
I did not create them. No. I do not know how they were brought back to be skeletons, but I did face them and defeat them.
There's a cheer that ripples throughout the youngsters. A dwarf has now joined you. He looks you up and down. Yeah, it is good that you have prevailed against this enemy. But why did you not stay and fight again?
I am quite new in combat. I wish to learn a bit more, gain a bit more experience before I try my luck again.
This particularly large barbarian walks past, and claps you on the shoulder unless you duck out of the way. Do you?
Yes, I will duck.
You duck out the way. The barbarian laughs at you. Yeah, this is a greenhorn. You have only done one fight. Yeah, but you have triumphed. You are welcome at my yurt any time you want to come for beer. But I should warn you, little cat, you better prepare to be drink like a man. For otherwise, I might end up with a new carpet, he says as he laughs and walks off. The dwarf laughs. The rest of the crowd start dissipating. The one young man who looks at you, he looks you up and down. My name is Alexei. Well, it's longer than that, but I'm training to be a warrior. I'm hoping to become a warrior anyway. I have a little tent. You're welcome to stay with me if you like. I could certainly pick your brains on what you did.
Well, Alexei, I may not have time to stay. Do you know of the monk named Zil?
I don't know any of the monks' names, but there was one here this morning, if that's the one you mean.
There was. What did he stay here long? Did you hear what he was asking for?
Well, I wasn't eavesdropping, mind you, because that wouldn't be the honourable thing to do. But he came in and he spoke to him. He points at the giant barbarian who's busy laughing at the dwarf. That didn't seem to work out. So then he spoke to some elves who were here, and they all left with him about an hour ago, I would say. Does that help? Is he in trouble? Has he run away?
I think he is looking for something, and he is a friend of mine, and I would just like to help him in his journey, but I would not like him to go alone. How did they leave, by foot, or did they have travel by other means?
Oh, elves. So they were on those. I don't know what you call them. They're very strange to me. They're the ones that look like sort of snakes that go up and down rather than sideways. I haven't seen them very often, but they sort of behave like horses. Are they? I think they called them a key ring, or something like that. Anyway, I can't say. Are you going to go and try and rescue him?
I do not know if he is in trouble, so I would not call it a rescue, but I do not wish him to go on his journey without him. Yes.
Oh. Well, it's rather dangerous, the route that they're taking. I heard I saw which direction they're going in, actually.
And would you have a means of transportation that would be comparable to what the elves took?
You don't have a horse?
I do not, no. I am a fairly fast runner myself, but I do not have a horse of my own.
If I get you a horse, could I come with you? I
Yes.
can fight. I can fight, and I know how to use a sword and a shield, and I can light fires. And I wait. Did you say yes?
Yes. You seem like a man of my own heart. So yes, we could go together.
Great. I'll organize a horse for you. Maybe
And one for yourself.
Yes, I'll try. But I'll organize. I'm a man of my word, and if I am to organize you transport, I will organize you transport. Maybe come back in half an hour.
Well, if they already have the lead on us, we need to act quickly. I would not like to delay it as much as possible.
Right. Okay. Well, then just wait here. I'll go and get the horse. This is...
Wonderful, wonderful. If there is a cost involved, please let me know.
I said I would organise them, so don't you worry. It's the honourable thing to do. He scurries off into the throng. There are several very large, very green-looking orcs lounging around. One of them is a female with particularly brilliant red hair and these heavy braids. And she saunters over to you and looks you up and down. I am unfamiliar with your species. What are you?
I am a Tabaxi. My name is Raj. Pleased to meet you.
Where are you from, Tabaxi?
I come from a faraway land in the south named Vashti. Have you heard of it?
No. I am Fashion, Slayer of Orc, Reaper of Men. I have come to claim my honor in the arena.
I wish you all the best of luck then.
I hear you slew the dead.
Yes, I did face a couple of skeletons of past companions of mine nonetheless.
There is no honor in fighting the dead. Do you think all of the battles will involve the dead?
I do not know. There was no information given as to the kind of opponent to be faced beforehand.
And they're all undead?
I do not know. I do not believe all undead. I did watch quite a few matches yesterday, and not all were undead.
What were they?
All sorts of creatures from throughout the realms.
Beasts?
Beasts and men and... Yes.
This is good. I was concerned our journey here had been for nothing. For the dead are dead and should not be fought again, even if they are fighting back. You have made me happy, little cat. I shall remember your species. Babaxi, you say?
Babaxi, yes.
She turns, she walks, she stops, she looks back at you. She unclips this rather impressive, looks like a dagger, quite a heavy blade. It's almost a short sword with an ivory handle or a bone handle of some kind. And she flicks it at you. There's a sort of a whoop, whoop, whoop as this big blade spirals towards you. Do you try and catch it or step back and let it land in the dirt?
Try and catch it.
All right, give me an acrobatics, sleight of hand check, or acrobatics, your choice.
Most likely, they're the same either way.
All right.
So, 19.
19. How do you catch this blade?
I will do a tumble forward and then stand up and catch the blade.
If you had let my blade be dirtied by the ground, I would have used it to skin you. But you have caught it honorably. Consider it a gift from the orcs to the Tabaxi.
Thank you very much. I am not skilled in such a large weapon.
Then you shall learn.
All right. Thank you very much. I shall honor this weapon for many years to come. Yes. Thank you.
She turns and strides away. A few moments later, Alexei comes rushing up to you. He's pulling a horse, and it looks like a mule next to him. I've got you a horse. And a mount for myself. I'll keep up, don't you worry.
I was just about to ask that. Yes.
Give me a perception check, if you please.
Okay. 10.
You seem to recall before he left you that at his side he had a longsword and a shield of some description. He no longer seems to have those, and they're not on the animals themselves. What should I call you, sir?
I apologize, Alexei. My name is Raj.
Very well, Sir Raj. I will be your squire, if that's okay.
Yes, but how will you protect and defend yourself? Where has your sword and your shield gone?
Blushing isn't something that the Tabaxi do very often. It's a difficult thing to do underneath fur. But this human goes from being a sort of pale creamy colour to a beetroot colour as you ask him that question. And he mumbles something about it is of no importance. You don't have to worry. I will keep you safe, sir. A squire does his duty.
Okay, very well, very well. I shall trust you. Perhaps we shall find something along the way.
Yes. The horse is yours, sir.
All right, let us go. Let us go right and make haste. You know the direction. Please lead the way.
Give me an insight check.
11.
Well, he climbs onto the mule and then has to lift his legs up because he kind of just straddles this thing. He's a tall human. And he giddies it along and it sort of trots ahead. And he's following a path which it's the only main road out of here. Maybe it had paving stones on it once 1,000 years ago, but now it's more dirt with the occasional stone embedded in it. And he gets to a very decided fork after about 3 minutes of travel, you would say. One snakes back on itself and heads south. The other heads north. And just for the slightest of moments, he seems to vacillate between north and south until eventually he decides south is the route, and then he kicks his mule on and gives you a reassuring grin which reveals more teeth than seems natural in his head, but it's just a lanky youth, he's probably 16 or 17 years of age.
All right, you're sure this is the way?
Yes, they did say they were going to the city of Nexi, which I believe is this way. Oh, in truth, I have never been to Nexi, and I asked someone else how to get there, and they said that I should take the road south. So this is the road south. They did also say that it passes across 2 very large and very dangerous rivers and takes us into the areas known as the Tracts of Haidar, which apparently have got 2-headed man-eating ogres in it. But I'm sure we'll be fine, and I think they were just telling us tales anyway. You know what warriors are like, bravado and that sort of thing. Master, are you petrified? So terrified that you have lost the will to speak? I think he has. Or is it me? I don't know. I think that's it. Well, we were running out of time anyway, so there we go. At least it's a decent pose. It's a very serious pose that Brian has found himself in. Not sure what's going on there. Anyway, what is 17 and cat years? I don't know. Cat years, I mean, it's weird. It's very, very weird. Are we still streaming? He asked in desperate panic now all of a sudden. Is it just Brian? It's not me, right? Yeah, wait, I'm frozen? Yep, you are. Wait, Laura, you got to be clearer than that. Am I frozen? You are frozen. Really? Yep, when he changes. Oh, there we go. There we go. He's come back. No, I'm okay. Okay, fine. Thank you. All right, so there we go. Let's see what happens. Hello, Brian? No? No, Brian? There we go. Oh, now we've got multiple Brians. Oh, it's broken the layout. Hello, Brian.
My connection just disappeared on me. I don't know what happened.
That's all right, Brian. We were right at the end of the session anyway. Let me just see if I can get a picture of you so we can... there we go. I think you're over there. And just remind me to reset this next week because otherwise I will forget. But there you are, Brian. So, yes, thank you for playing today. And you have headed off south into the new territories on this road. And yes, you get to level up. You get to level up after that. So there we go. You can do that.
Sweet.
And now Zoom has decided to kick out the other Brian and bring back this one. So I'll bring you back. It's all right. It's all good. Why is it so big? Well, you know, these things are sent to try us. Anyway,
True.
Yes, you get to level up, and we'll see you again next week, Brian.
All right.
So you have a great week, and we will see you around.
All right. Sounds good. Bye-bye.
Okay, cheers, Brian. Now, for those of you that stick around, nope, it's not my day today. Well, there we go. Well, I'm muted, right? He's muted. Sound lost. What do you mean the sound's lost? Sound is gone. Sound is gone. What? Fine now. Well, I hope you didn't hear what I was saying. Oh dear, now you're back. Technology is not your friend today. No, it isn't. It absolutely is not. Yeah, like I was saying, the beginning was an absolute disaster. Absolute disaster. My shirt's on backwards. That's why it's sitting so weird. It's like, why am I being strangled by my own damn t-shirt? You know, I don't know. Names will be in Discord. Thanks, Grizzles. I did get to use one of them that you were throwing out. So there we go. Yeah, what happened to Brian? He had a disconnect, and so when he came back in again, Zoom was trying to do all sorts of silly and wonderful things. Anyway, it is what it is. And there we go. I hope you had fun watching this. I got a bit nervous, I will admit. So I should do warnings. If you are sticking around, you will get a very brief insight into the absolute catastrophe that was today and how I tried to handle it as the GM. And so it's a bit of a spoiler. Right, a little bit of a spoiler, and so if you don't want to see that, I'll see you again next week, where I promise I will remember what is happening on a Wednesday, and hopefully the air conditioning will be working by then, so I won't be sweating like a monster. But there we go, sending virtual coffee, thank you. I've got my banana milk here, and yes, so there we are. Okay, so spoilers incoming. If you don't want to see those spoilers, thank you for watching, and we will catch you again next week. No chocolate milk, says Captain Prices. Well, here's the secret, actually. I prefer banana. It's just that the Americans don't have lots of banana. They have lots of chocolate milk. But really, it's just milk. If it's flavoured with banana, or if it's flavoured with chocolate, or even strawberry. I mean, let's be honest. So there we are. Okay, how long is this adventure time-wise, says Mr. Rogers' neighbour. So yes, if you've got questions, please put the word question. Sorry, I'm picking up the dice that went rogue. If you have questions, put them in caps. Put them in caps. I have never had banana milk. You are missing out. What a wonderful opportunity for you one day. What do you mean that's a new one, says Drinbar. Laura Bones, you're fired. What do you mean it's gross? It's not gross. Banana is absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. So, yes, I grew up in an area in South Africa where bananas were just everywhere. It was they don't have banana milk, AK Writer. That's what I couldn't find. So how long do your adventures last? 6 months. Okay, so to put in some perspective here, let me open up the plan so you guys can have a look at it. Thank you to World Anvil for doing the interactive map. Thank you to Dungeon Fog. Some people were asking what platform are we using. We're using Dungeon Fog as our VTT of choice. Oh, it's not a VTT, it's VTT Lite. It's VTT Lite. So there is that. But yeah, so we've got this whole thing planned out. What was this now? Session 4, I think. I can't remember. I've gone blank on that. Today's been an absolute nightmare. I don't know why I keep forgetting this. So I'm just busy opening it up now. Shadowborn. I'll open up all of these things so you can see where we went right, where we went wrong, and we will take it from there. So you should now be able to see behind me. Look at this disaster. I mean, it's just boxes, and I'm trying to fit an entire apartment in one room here in the UK until I can get my own house, but that's taking longer than I thought. We all have our problems with COVID, I guess. Okay, so this is the master outline, and each of these outlines is an adventure. So outline number 1, let's zoom in on that so you can actually see what it says. Outline number 1 says washed ashore and saved by the life cult priest. Okay, someone has stolen from the temple the sacred stone of life. It's a mystery that points to Raj as the thief. This I decided against actually doing. So I had planned it, but I didn't need it. I needed Raj to make an impression upon the life cult. I needed him to be washed ashore, and that's exactly what happened. And I think also what mitigated this whole thing was that this was designed where session 0 was going to be separate from the primary adventure. And yet what happened was session 0 actually just continued into the whole adventure. So it became the entire adventure. So I was quite happy. I didn't need him to have stolen something from the temple. I did have Zil leaving the temple, because something that I think I have realized with Brian, and I hope that it's me realizing it and not because I'm a very dominant GM, which I think is also possible, is that Brian is here to go on the journey. He's here to explore the story as it kind of unfolds. So I needed something to keep moving forward. I don't know. Maybe I'm being too eager on this. You guys got to see the behind the scenes with him whilst I was grabbing the banana milk, which is amazing and mind blowing, and you should get yourself some. You got to see what he was thinking. So I'm going to go back and watch this a little bit later on, and to see what the outcome is, because some people are saying he got it backwards. He just had it backwards. No worries. Anyway, we'll see what happens there, and it will be interesting. So I see Jason Todd plus Crowbar says, is this the campaign from the Building a Campaign series? Yes, it is. It's the world from that series. So in that series from last year, we created a campaign where we had this big evil villain that was invading Utherios, and she was going to take it over. I really loved the world. The campaign itself, I think, would be a lot of fun to play in. But for this one-on-one game, it's a solo game, I thought, nah, I think it's too. I can do something much more interesting with a one-on-one game, which is a prophecy fulfillment. So I decided to use the world of Aetherios, but to just make up a new campaign. And this is the campaign behind me. So all those cults, those different cults, you're absolutely right. That's where it comes from. Okay, so back to questions. Grizzle says, why was the dagger thrown at Raj by the orc? What if he did not catch it? What was mentioned have been carried out? Okay, so Grizzles has asked a very good question. Why did I have the orc randomly throw a very precious dagger or short sword at Raj? The answer is what I did later. What did I do later that a semi-possibly magical dagger might be useful for? Think about that. Think about that for just a moment. Yeah, so think about that one. All right. There was a very definite decision there. Alexei, in case you don't know, is seeding, says Stampser. It was very short seeding. It was definitely very short on the cuff. A weaponless squire, says Fethahid thee. There you go. There you go. Now, why was the squire weaponless? Why was he weaponless? Captain Priceless has got it. He sold his weapons to buy the transport. So, what good is having a fighter who doesn't have any weapons? So I needed to give him a weapon, but I needed to impress upon Raj that the fighter, that Alexei, was willing to sell everything to come on this journey. Why? Because I'm trying to make Alexei sympathetic towards Raj's character. So Raj sees that here is an honest-to-goodness young paladin in the making. Well, he doesn't know he's a paladin yet, but he's a paladin in the making. He is willing to do anything to not fight in the arena because he's actually scared to fight in the arena. So now he can say he's on a great quest to find the lost monk. He hasn't lost any honor by his own reckoning, but he also doesn't have to fight in the arena anymore. And by using his weapons, it was a noble deed to get the mule and the horse. But now Raj has this short sword dagger thing which he can give to his squire. And I think what that does is a very simple little act. But the orcs have now been introduced as this race. They don't want to fight the skeletons. I have no idea why they don't want to fight skeletons. That was just me needing to make conversation. So when I do NPC dialogue, oftentimes I don't know why the NPC is talking to the player character until I figure it out in dialogue. So with the orc, I was like, I want to create this vibe that this little village is full of warriors who don't know what to expect in the arena, but they've come here to test their mettle, to prove themselves in the arena, and that anyone and everyone is welcome. Hence the dwarves and the orcs and the humans and all that kind of stuff. So I really wanted that to play out. And when the orc was talking to him about fighting undead, he got to the point eventually that it wasn't just undead, it was other things. And I was like, you know what? The reason why I had Alexei running away and asking for more time was because he was having to go and trade for these horses, right? I also thought it might be a nice opportunity for him to go back to the abbot and say, hey, listen, bud, I'm going on a journey to go and find your monk. I have discovered a trail. That hasn't happened, so that's okay. That's absolutely fine. I mean, he's on his trail. Off he goes, and there he is. So, the shortening of that was absolutely fine. But as the orc was talking to him, I was like, you know what, the squire is definitely going to need a weapon. Let's give him a weapon. The orc can give it to him in the style of honor. If he dropped it in the dust, the orc would have laughed at him and said, you need to practice more, or the next time we meet, if you cannot defeat me with that blade, I will cut your head. Or, something along those lines. But of course, he caught it beautifully, thank goodness. And so then the orc made that empty threat. So would it have happened if he had dropped it? No, I would have just changed it because the goal wasn't to initiate combat. I wasn't trying to trigger a combat with this orc. We'd seen combat with Raj. We'd seen what he was capable of doing. He's defaulting to his cantrip spells, which is absolutely fine. I mean, he's a level 1 sorcerer. What else is he supposed to be doing? And we didn't need another combat. So I didn't want to trigger that. I felt the pacing was going okay anyway. He was kind of on the trail. Let's get moving. Let's get out of this space. Get him to level up. Get on the road, on the trail to Zil. Zil is basically now becoming my MacGuffin, because if you look here, the next official adventure. So this is the thing. Someone is asking how long is this going to be. So there are there's 4, 8, 9, 10, 11. There are 14, 15 adventures planned for my plot, for my campaign. Okay. So the idea here is, okay, cool. That is what, 15 times possibly 4 or 5 sessions. That's a lot of sessions. I mean, that's 50. It's more than a year's worth of gameplay at an hour a stretch. But this does not represent the campaign in its totality. Each of these is one of 3 other adventures. So this is my plot adventure. The next adventure, which is what they're going on now, is an emergent adventure. It has nothing to do with the plot whatsoever. They're going to go on the road. I don't know what the next adventure is. I haven't planned it out. I threw some seeds in there. Oh, we're going into the dark temple, the tracts of Haidar. We're going into with 2-headed ogres that eat people and crossing 2 great rivers and that sort of thing. I've set it up that I could do a wilderness adventure. I could do damsel in distress adventure. I could do an old ruin adventure. I mean, we can go wherever we like with the next adventure. And that's the point, is that it's not supposed to be linked. There won't be any mention of prophecies. There won't be anything along those lines whatsoever. It will just be a fun adventure. Probably not as long as this one, because I don't need to set up so much stuff. But eventually they'll get to the city of Nexi. And when they get there, it still won't be the plot adventure. We won't yet get to the Death Cult reaches out to Raj. It will then be a personal story. So whether it's his father has sent bounty hunters to try and find him or something along those lines, that's when we will then have a personal backstory just to remind him of his history. I'll read some of his backstory. I'll go and have a look at his backstory again and see what he's written in there. Choose something from that. I remember in session 1, he had a friend who was helping him find a ship. Maybe the friend sailed and went looking for him and is now in Nexi and is in trouble. So I'll weave that in, and then we will get to the Death Cult reaching out. And perhaps the Death Cult has got young Zil, or has had Zil go through. I mean, there's all sorts of options. Okay, so let's see. I'm seeing, are there any questions? Let's see. After that, will you be doing another giveaway for a chance to play in one of your campaigns, says Ranwin. It wasn't a giveaway, Ranwin. It was just for my Patreon. So anyone who was a patron could apply to play. I think we ended up having, I want to say 8 or 9 people apply who could play at this time and who have a camera and preferably a green screen, which in my case is just a piece of green cloth hanging over the cupboard. But there we go. But yes, so at the moment, no, because I have got another campaign that we have started. I'm so excited for that. I mean, I love this game with Brian. 1-on-1 is so cool. It's a very different kind of game. We'll see how long it goes for. We'll see how long Brian goes for, because it's 2 a.m. in Hong Kong, which is where he's based. But yes, there's another game that I've got going. It's absolutely cool. We finally got to playing session 1 last week, Friday. And the frustrating thing is we're going to play again on the 22nd of June. So I'm recording them and I have been secretly banking them onto YouTube. But what I'm thinking, and you guys can tell me if this is a good idea or not, is because we have an erratic recording schedule, we kind of have to line up all of these people and their schedules. Because it's erratic, there's no constant release. So my thinking was, let's get 10 or 12 episodes in the bag and then release all 12 of them at once. So you can binge watch if you want to, or temper yourself. I'm not sure. Okay, I'm still looking for questions. Suggestion, AK Writer says, excuse me, maybe to orcs, combat is really a contest of spirit, a contest of souls. And the undead are usually either bodies whose souls have moved on, or souls trapped in this world and without bodies to contest the orc warriors properly. I love it. That's just become canon. There we go. Hopefully I'll remember it. But yes, absolutely, I don't have a problem with that. I think that's a great idea. The orcs like to fight the spirit circle, and the spirit circle is devoid. I don't think there is a spirit circle. Damn, the life circle. Well, whatever circle is attached to undead, that's the one that they have, and it's not the one that everybody else wants. Right. Okay, Guy wants Banana before the masterclass Saturday and is having trouble getting it because of Zoom's interface. You are absolutely right. No, Saturday and Sunday, folks. Circleofworldbuilders.com. If you don't know what I'm talking about, circleofworldbuilders.com. Go sign up. 2,000 people have signed up already. So I know I'm supposed to be wearing a blasted wig, but I think it was just for a live show. It wasn't for the whole thing. I'll go mad. I will go absolutely blinking mad if I have to wear it for the whole day, because I've got to wear this red wig that I wore, and I don't know why I wore it. I'm like, anyway. But yes, right. AK Writer says, oh, I never mentioned green screen. No, I didn't mention green screen. It wasn't one of the original requirements. You are quite right. And then on Laura Bones says on Discord, I did. Yeah, but I'm old. I forget stuff. Okay, let's see. More questions. David Bridgman says, when you are rolling during social encounters, what are they usually for? Tension. They're usually for tension. Are there ever inconsequential dice rolls to keep the players on their feet? The real question is, are there ever inconsequential die rolls? Are there ever consequential die rolls? No. So usually when I'm rolling in the tray, I'm going, okay, cool. So let's see. When he asked Alexi about Alexi's sword and shield, Alexi blushed. Because, again, a lot of times it's an endearing trait, right? If you look at anime or at cartoons, the blushing of the red cheeks is so symbolic of this sort of innocence that's been caught out, if you like. So it's a quick, easy shorthand for this is an innocent character who's trying to be manly and upstanding. I rolled to see what his deception check was. I rolled a 3, so that's why he blushed like a beetroot. Occasionally I do rolls that have no meaning whatsoever. Sometimes if I roll like a natural 20, that should be something of significance. So that's when I make a call. But oftentimes the rolling is just to keep the players on their toes. Because one of the things that I hate is that when you roll, if you then ask the player to make a counter roll, they will be expecting that something happened and they missed. Brian is very good at not trying to work out what he missed. He just accepts it and he moves on, which is really cool. There's some players who will meta that and go, oh, well, I try looking from the other direction. Do they look the same? Can I use psychology instead of insight? Whatever. I mean, it is what it is. But yes, it's an old habit I got into where I often roll a lot for that specific reason. T-Cat says, do you think Brian is associating himself with the prophecy yet? I think he's playing it cautious. I think Brian is a very cautious player, or at least he's playing Raj as a very cautious cat, which is absolutely fine. He's a solo player. He has to be cautious. In that combat, we saw death looming when he was doing, oh, I miss again, oh, I continue to miss. It's like, just cheat. Okay, fine. And I mean, I'm joking when I say just cheat. I mean, it was great that he definitely was reading his dice, and he wasn't cheating, which is brilliant. But my goodness, look, I mean, there was no risk of death. If he had got to 0 hit points, the priest would have stepped in, and he would have woken up 4 days later, and there we go. So, yeah, and so there we are. Now, right. So I don't think they're piling up. Says Captain Price has read through the questions. I think I have read through the questions. I don't think I've missed any. If I have, just ask them again, please. Okay, so that was that one. You're kind of like a Netflix binge. I've just done a big Netflix binge, actually. I actually had it on while I was trying to clean the room out, called The Big Flower Fight. I know, it's awful, but it's one of those typical 12 people from around the world have been brought together to make the most amazing flower arranging. And these things are like 10 feet tall, these massive things. So there we go. I tried to get into Sirens. Is it called Sirens? It's the one where the mermaid is like this deranged creature, but I couldn't get over her. She was so unworldly as a human. I was like, no, we got to put that fish out of its misery. I can't watch that, so I couldn't get past it. Mr. Rogers' neighbor says, is having you as a DM a Patreon perk? It isn't. I used to do it a long time ago, and to be perfectly honest with you, when we got to the nuts and bolts, having people pay me to be their GM, I really struggled to enjoy the game because it really felt like work. So like these kinds of games I enjoy because I know that I could turn around tomorrow and say, Brian, thanks for playing, but I'm kind of out of it. Whereas once that money's been exchanged, there's that pressure to perform, and yeah, I don't know. Maybe I had a great experience, and a lot of those Patreons that were part of that original game, I'm still friends with. So don't get me wrong. It was just weird. It was strange. Maybe I should get back into it. I think also the pressure was when I did it, I was still in South Africa, so internet was dodgy as hell. But yeah. Right, Captain Prices says Lahuna's mother's wig. Yes, absolutely. Okay, let's see. A green screen can be made of any green cloth. Absolutely. That's what a lot of people think. They have to go and buy these expensive green screens and then that sort of thing on Amazon and that sort of stuff. It's literally a $5 sheet. So as long as you've got a window, so I've got a window out this side, which is still letting in light because the UK sun doesn't go down. Everyone keeps saying, oh, it's so grey in the UK. It's only been glorious sunshine to the point that I'm positively shining. It's disgusting. Anyway. Is Alexei supposed to be another Mios, says Grizzles. I will admit, I have a few NPCs that are get out of jail free NPCs, if you like. I've got the angry grumpy dwarf or gnome, depending on the situation. I've got the highly amused, slightly stupid, but certainly dedicated barbarian. I have a few of these NPCs that float around, and when I play with different people, I use them as I need to. So today's session, I will not lie, literally, Brian sent me an email 5 minutes before the show. I had completely blanked on it. There was no green screen up. There were no lights up. So it was absolute panic. I do hope that you saw that sort of calming, centering moment. I felt awfully. It's like, no, the prima donna must center herself. Find your inner DM and focus. But it actually worked. It really did. It was like, okay, forget the nonsense. Forget the fact that the screen is keying out my forehead because it's wet. Forget all of that stuff. Just bring it back. So yeah, maybe we need to do that. So is he another Mios? Yes, he is. Although Mios was aspiring, and because Mios, now this is a character from another series that I ran called The Adventures of the Windswift. Mios was on that ship basically as a foil and as a bit of humor and as a lovable NPC, which was his job in that show. In this one, Alexei is around because that combat that happened, you saw very quickly what happened with two characters. there was flanking almost instantaneously between the skeletons. Should they have been flanking? Well, my skeletons are slightly intelligent, so I don't see why not. He could have been taken down very, very, very quickly. So this case, Alexei is there to, for now anyway, act as a bit of a meat shield for Raj, and hopefully to become a friend and paladin who journeys with Raj or not. I don't know. We'll see where that goes. But yeah, that's the idea. Let's see. I've answered that one. Captain Prices says, for the cow. Okay, for Circle of World Builders. I don't mind answering some of those questions now. For the cow, 5 ways to kill the PCs. Should we make it 5 ways to kill every character or 5 ways to TPK? There's a newsletter that will be going out or should have gone out already, I think, for today. It's the last newsletter before the event occurs. It is just 5 ways to kill a PC. Is it falling 1,000 feet? Is it a gigantic ball of fire being dropped into the middle of a volcano? 5 ways in which a PC could die, or all the PCs could die. It doesn't have to be TPK. I'm not looking for a gigantic scenario setup. The email has gone out. Thanks, David Bridgman. I'm not looking for mega setup. It's just going to help you, give you options in terms of building an adventure. So, yeah, it could be suffocation by toilet roll. I mean, it can be anything. It really, really can be anything. Captain Price says, you said you're not a very dominant. No, I am a very dominant GM. So I am a dominant GM. So that's, in my experience, that's what a dominant GM is. A dominant GM, in my opinion, is a DM who drives, not railroads. I don't care where the players go, as long as the players go. So when I see players just sitting, if they're not talking to each other, if they're not engaging with each other, I will trigger something to happen. So a dominant GM, in my opinion, okay, maybe dominant is the wrong word, because a dominant GM is someone who triggers events and keeps the story moving forward rather than sits back and waits for the players to try and find a plot or to try and find something to do, because players can sometimes not know what to do, so they kind of end up stagnating. So yeah, what a dominant GM is not is someone who says you will go down this pathway or you will go down that pathway. So I wanted him to see that Alexei was nervous taking the southern road, so the rolls were made because rolls were required, but it didn't really matter. He was going to see it. So not dominant, pushy, says Lance Pickett. Look, I don't see this as a negative, okay? I see it as a positive. There are so many times, there's so many games that I've played in where the GM is not dominant. The GM is passive and they go, it's a simulation. I'm not being involved. So if you don't do anything, it's your choice. I don't feel that's one of the GM's duties. The GM's duty is about pacing. And if you don't keep the pacing going, then you're not doing part of your duty. Anyway, that's just me. Jason Todd plus Crowbar says, could we bring a plot idea, the sentence to the masterclass on Saturday, and will you go over it and find flaws? So Jason Todd plus Crowbar, it is not on Saturday, but on Sunday, potentially yes. So Saturday, we're going to be showing you how to make a complete adventure. A complete adventure. So everything from the actual adventure to the region that the adventure's in to all of the maps. We have Nerdarchy coming in to explain how to build cool encounters so that you end up with a really solid adventure that you can look at and go, this is a round complete package. So if you're used to doing that sort of thing, then it's going to be showing you extra stuff, like how can you work faster? How can you get better insight? Then, provided that you have signed up to the website, so that's circleofworldbuilders.com, you need to have signed up to it. I think the deadline is just before the start on Saturday. You need to have signed up to it in order to be able to submit by Sunday noon or Sunday 3 p.m. GMT to submit your work. So you would then after Saturday, you've got Saturday night or Sunday morning. You work on your idea, you work on your adventure, you then submit that. And that then comes to us, and then whomever is reviewing that particular section. So I will be looking at adventure structure, the actual plot, and that kind of stuff. The team from World Anvil will be looking at your world building and seeing, okay, well, you've got this adventure where you talk about flying eagles, but what do they eat? How do they do this? What do you do that? So that's something to look at. So 10 a.m. Pacific time, I think, is about right. It seems to ring some bells. It seems to ring some bells. Okay, that was that question. Captain Price says, will you be joining us in Discord chat after this? I know you're busy and that I'm tired. I have to find my bed. Because when I move this room around, it really is Tetris, and it's move this there, then move that there, then move this there, then move that there. And currently my bed is next to me. At the moment, it has, I don't know how many dice on it. There's bits of green screen pole. So unfortunately, I won't be joining you this evening. I need to actually dig this thing out. So anyway, we'll get there one day. AK Writer says, question for Cow. Is the masterclass to be participated on the Cow homepage or on your YouTube channels, or where? I didn't get the memo. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so if you go to Circle of Wilders website, you sign up, and then you'll get an email. Or I don't think you'll get another one. You might get another one tomorrow morning. See, the biggest problem is we don't know how to. We're learning. This is our first major convention that we are doing this way. So we are learning many things. But anyway, so it's on all of the YouTube channels. So if you want to watch on World Anvil, twitch.tv World Anvil, or youtube.com/Dungeon Fog, or on either of my two channels, you can. We are streaming to 6 channels. So you choose your favorite and you go and hang out there. Bearing in mind, I think there are a lot of people who watch all of them, and so they're in chat. But there's also each group has its own sort of clique, if you like. So it's about choosing, I want to be in the Twitch World Anvil clique because they're quite fun, or actually the YouTube guys are more talkative or less talkative. So the same content is going everywhere, and all of your questions are being sent to me. I am the primary host of this entire event. They're all coming through to me, and all of the participants, the lecturers or YouTubers who are giving you all of this stuff, I will filter those questions through to them. And I've just realized I have to figure out how to get that to Nerdarchy, but that's fine. So we'll get there. So you can watch it almost anywhere you like. Okay. That's time. Dan C says, do you need any other mods? So I know World Anvil sorted for moderators. I know Dungeon Fog is sorted for moderators. I had some people reaching out to me this afternoon saying, hey, do you need help during this thing? And I'm like, what? I don't even know what day it is today. Of course I need help. I just don't know what help I need just yet. So I will reach out to people if I do need help. Like I said, it's a little bit of a new one. I will be monitoring the chat from 6 different channels. I mean, it's just nuts. And we've had over 2,000 people signing up. So even if half of them show up, that's 1,000 people potentially commenting. I don't know if a moderator is even going to be able to keep up. Stamser says, was any seed unpredictable in this live? I felt like you are 10 steps in front. I know ready, plot helps, but I don't think I can do it. Okay, so that's a very good question, Stamser. I had no idea what I was doing in this session. I knew that he was going into a combat with the skeletons, because that's the cliffhanger we ended off on last week. I knew that Zil was missing, or had gone, or was taken. I didn't know why or for what. That was it. That's all that I had going into the session. No, the map's prepared. I did prepare the arena map. I filled it in a little bit. And that was it. So as he was doing the combat, I was going, okay, cool. Where is Zil gone and why has Zil left? Once we're done with the combat, I felt like we're kind of done with this monastery, aren't we? It's over. It's done. Kanryo, as I love saying in Japanese. Or Shiryo. I don't know which one would be appropriate here. Anyway. So I wanted to get him out of the monastery, and I'm like, okay, Zil's gone somewhere. I seeded that, but I don't know where Zil's gone. Why would Zil have gone anywhere? And then he said, oh, I want to go and see the abbot. I'm like, what the hell could the abbot have to do with Zil? He wants to ask the abbot where Zil is. The abbot doesn't know where Zil is. So where could Zil be? Zil was the one pushing the prophecy. That was something that I had in my pocket. Okay. What if Zil was trying to make the prophecy come true? That's an old trope. We all know that there's always some nut who wants the prophecy to come true. Maybe Zil has had enough of only reading paragraph 1. He wants to see what paragraph 2 is all about. Okay, so if he's trying to make the prophecy come true, how is he doing that? So as Brian's character Raj was talking to the abbot, I was, as the abbot and as the GM, going, how would Zil connect the dots? The prophecy exists in Definii. Maybe he's gone to Definii. Yeah, that gets Raj out the temple. It gives him a joke. Gives him a joke. You see what happens when I'm reading the screen? It gives him a quest. If he takes it, that's great. He can choose not to take it. That's fine as well. It solves where the hell Zil went. It gets him out. Okay, tick boxes. Done, 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 done. Okay, good. Right, he's going out. How does he get to Definii? Well, and then Brian suggested it. Well, there is that camp, and we saw that on the hill. Yeah, that's where he went. He went to the camp. Sure, I don't know why he went to the camp. Okay, then they arrive in the camp, and no one is allowed to meet these priests because they're not allowed to know what happens in the arena. Why? I don't know. I just didn't want them to have familiarity with the priest, and I wanted them to flock around Raj and him to have a little bit of a hero moment because he had won the battle in the arena. I wanted him to feel good about himself. Okay, and then the brain started gearing up, and it's like, okay, well, we're going on a journey. What do you need? Transportation. Where did Zil go? Was he happy? Was he sad? We know that he's going to try and get to Definii now. Well, he was happy. He left with the elves. What did he leave on? Yeah, I don't know. He left on a Kieran, the thingy thing. Why a Kieran? Because I watched the 47 Ronin movie the other day. So there we go. So that's my process. It looks or feels like I'm 10 steps ahead. I'm actually jogging to keep up and just managing to tap dance a little bit ahead of the player occasionally to keep up. The brain is going 10 to none in the background. And it happens, I think, because I have practiced freeform association for so long that it's easy for me to connect the dots. The abbot is talking about where Zil has gone. Zil wants to be a hero. Boom, 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 boom. Dot connected. There we go. So yes, that's the truthful answer. Okay, T-Cats. I'm going to cap questions, by the way. So when I get to, I'm at 2048, still working through the questions. When I get to 2056, I'm stopping questions because I'm going to be here all night. T-Cat says, really looking forward to the masterclass. Fantastic. All our previous jokes aside, suggest for your own enjoyment you do reduce wig time, as it will be a long 2 days for you all to run, and you've worked hard on prep. Yeah, I thought it was supposed to be for a live show on a Sunday. I didn't think that it was for the actual event. We'll have to check that. Page of Harmony says the cow page says 2 p.m. start for Eastern, and I think it should be 1 p.m. I'll put a post up in Discord. Oh wait, there's a whole bunch of Circle of Wilburys. Okay, newsletter is out. I've created a Facebook event. Okay, brilliant. Oh, there we go. There's a Facebook event. Yeah, that's what should be happening. I'm just going to type in here, because if I don't type it, I'm going to forget. There is a question about the Eastern start time. It says 2 p.m., but should be 1 p.m. I am unsure. Can someone with a brain please double check? Because I think I wrote that. So we'll just double check on that page of Harmony. Thank you for spotting that. Dan C says, for the 5 monsters, do you want homebrew for cow or monster manual creatures? To be perfectly honest with you, although I think Nerdarchy will be talking about the monster build from a 5th edition point of view, because they know 5th edition really well and it's a common dialogue, you don't have to build monsters from the Monsters Manual. What they are talking about, yes, but they're not doing a masterclass on Sunday, so they're not going to be critiquing your monster stats. So that will come to me in terms of your adventure and your potential encounters. I will look at it and go, what the hell is a striped seeger? I don't know what a striped seeger is, but it sounds cool, and by the looks of things, it can kill players. That's brilliant. How are we going to introduce a striped seeger in Act 1? Because I need to know these things beforehand if it's so new to your world. So don't stress about it too much. Then Dancy says, do you need mods to help out for cow? Dancy, if I do, I will do a big shout out. I really will, to everyone on Discord, Facebook, Twitter. I'll do the full Monty. I need to check with the Web Goblin what he's doing. I know he wants to be part of this, which is brilliant. But yes, we do need to just check. Okay. Right. AK Writer says, another cow question. So you are doing your content simultaneously. So if I watch your stuff, I'll miss World Anvil. No, not at all. No, not at all. So it is all sequential. So on all of the channels, you will see the entire program. So think of it as a 6 or 7 hour stream where on Saturday I'm first because I set the adventure. Then it's World Anvil. They set the world and everything that's happening in it. Then it's Nerdarchy, and they build the encounters from my adventure, and they make those encounters cool. And then it's Dungeon Fog. They build the maps that we're going to need for the encounters and for the world. And then we all get together and we build another one based on suggestions from you guys. So that's on Saturday. And then on Sunday, it's just World Anvil, Dungeon Fog, and myself, and we are going through... Okay, cool. You submitted the adventure. I now go through your adventure and I break it down. So there we go. I really do appreciate, guys, the amount of support that you are throwing at us. It's really awesome. So it's really cool. Okay. Mr. Rogers shouts, what other hobbies or relaxing things do you do besides playing cool related D&D stuff or RPG stuff? Yeah, next question. Actually, I do have another hobby. I've just started it. I was doing something on YouTube. We were looking at different channels or whatever, and this video came up of this Korean guy named Sanago, I think. And he's speaking Korean with English subtitles. And if it's one thing I learned about my time in Japan, is that there is this incredibly dry Asian sense of humor. And you read his subtitles and they're just so funny, but he plays this cool music in the background. He just talks and he's 3D printing a tree with a pen or a monster or a thing. And it's just so relaxing. His videos take like 15 minutes and he's just drawing lines and lines and lines. So I bought a 3D pen the other day. I don't know where it is. I've been making a 3D tree. So this is what I have been making. It's all done by hand. So if you look at the lattice structure, you are literally, you just draw a line and you draw another line and you draw another line. And this is about 6 hours worth of work so far. I don't know what it is. I just started drawing. I was like, I have no idea how this works. I've never done 3D pen drawing before. I've done 3D printing, but this is what I do occasionally to calm myself down. Usually when I'm doing it when I'm Skyping my partner, who's still in Japan. So I just you just do line by line by line by line. As you can see, that's the unfinished lattice work, and then this is where it sort of is a little bit more finished. So unfinished in progress, and then that's sort of how it gets to. And then there's other things you can do once you've done that. So I kind of do that, and that's about it. Otherwise, it's really just role playing. Let's see. I've answered that one already. I've answered that one. Thank you, AK Rider. Yes, wearing the wig is not meant to be torture. It is meant to be fun, and it absolutely is. I actually bought a new one because I thought I'd lost the old one that I actually wore in the D&D stream. So I bought a new one. It's much nicer than the other one. Okay. Okay, yes, David Bridgman points out something very, very important. So Kaora is doing a region map. So he's drawing a region map. But because it's such a long, complex process, we felt it would be better if he had a live stream going on his channel where he is just drawing this map and being Kaora, chilled, relaxed. So we will be cutting to him every hour. So in between each of the classes, we cut to Kaora, we catch up with him, we see what he's doing, we see where he's going, what his trials and tribulations are. So we really are trying to provide you with the whole picture of what goes into all of this. Grizzles can't make it, which is sad, but it will be on VOD. You'll be able to catch all of these stuff, all of the videos later on. So there we go. And I see there are 2 tones of brown. It's actually copper, but I think the green screen is buggering it out. So you see it's actually copper and brown. So I was doing the tree and I was like, well, okay, this is a cool tree, but I want something more interesting because there was no plan. This is an evolving thing. I should call it quits at some point. So I thought, well, let me try my hand at blending, because the big difference, at least this is what I've seen in my limited armchair exploration of 3D pen drawing, is that because it's a pen, you can shade with it. You can crosshatch and actually get shading out of it. So I thought that was pretty cool. So I wanted to see, so I've purposely sort of made it almost look like it's bleeding in. I don't know where it's going, but that's the point of a relaxing hobby, right? Is just to explore. So there we go. Yeah, it's kind of a Lovecraftian monster thingy. Yeah, well, we'll see what happens. Last question, and then we are done for today. Anyway, it is, when you say 5 locations, do you mean 5 different cities and ruins, or different buildings and dungeons? Could be anything. So it could be a laboratory. It could be a castle. It could be a city if you really wanted it to. It could be the inside of a cupboard, because that's a location. Don't restrict yourself. And in the latest newsletter, there is a link to a video that I filmed where I talk about all this stuff. So watch that video, because hopefully that will clear things up. This is one of the learning curves that we've realized, is that people really want to get involved, which is brilliant. But at the same time, it's like, don't overthink it. It's just, you'll see on the day how it works. So yeah, anyway. Folks, it's been a blast hanging out with you. I am so grateful for your patience and understanding and your incredible support. It really is awesome. I wish you all a fantastic evening. If you're going to go and hang out on the Discord channel with Captain Priceless, he's a hoot. So yes, go and hang out there. Chillax, relax, get ready for the weekend. I know I've taken next week Monday off, so if you are a Patreon, there might be a delay to your Patreon rewards for end of month. I was supposed to do them today, but then the air conditioning people said, hey, we're bringing your air conditioner, you should get ready. And I'm like, I have to rearrange the whole room. Anyway, so that's fine. Glass of milk and bed for you. Yeah, one day when I dig it out from underneath all the other stuff. I mean, the air conditioning thing came with stuff. It's like, I don't even know what this is. It's like a tubey thing. And then I have to drain it. I'm like, what? Anyway. Those are my problems. I'll see you all on Saturday. Remember, tomorrow is Mercs of Mischief at an ungodly hour. I think it's at 9 a.m. It's at 9 a.m. I'm not going to bed for a while. I'm setting up my green screens. Anyway, folks, I will see you all in a bit on Mercs of Mischief. If you don't know what that is, it's on Mercs of Mischief, twitch.tv, Mercs of Mischief. Anyway, until then, I wish you all a great evening. Goodbye.